Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of the finest examples of a Jedi Master, and an individual who not only shaped the galaxy for the better, but in many ways saved it outright. In Legends, Obi-Wan was born on the planet of Stupendous to a family who had amassed a fairly sizable fortune. Obi-Wan as a very young child was brought to the Jedi Temple after his family discovered he was in fact Force sensitive. Obi-Wan would later recall what he believed was a memory playing with his younger brother named Owen, but it was later revealed the child he saw was Owen Lars, although their paths had not crossed yet. As a Jedi learner, Kenobi advanced with his skills. Although he was not as powerful as many of the other students, Kenobi at times could be overconfident, and this in turn would lead him into danger. Under Jedi Master Yoda, however, Kenobi was able to overcome many of these hindrances. At the age of 12, Kenobi had still not been selected by a Jedi Master to train him, as although his skill was notable, it was often viewed as subpar. Obi-Wan began to lose hope of ever becoming a Jedi, fearful he would be forced to fall into another role that would serve the Order, but never truly become a Jedi Knight. One day, the Jedi Master Qui-Gonn Jinn witnessed Kenobi spar with another Jedi learner and admired him for his persistence, but noted he was uncontrolled and did not match the skill necessary to become a Jedi Padawan. This was unfortunately Kenobi's last chance, and Obi-Wan was sent away from Coruscant to aid the Republic and Jedi in a different way. Kenobi's new job was to collect crops that would help feed the Jedi at the temple and within the Order. While doing so, he again crossed paths with Qui-Gonn Jinn. There, Qui-Gonn's former apprentice Xanatos attacked the Jedi Master, revealing Qui-Gonn being called away from the temple was in fact a trap. However, because of Kenobi, the Jedi Master was saved, and Obi-Wan displayed his true potential. Following this, Jinn brought Kenobi back to the Jedi Temple and took him as his apprentice. At first, the two were not a good fit, as although Kenobi could be slightly arrogant, he always strictly followed the commands of the larger Jedi Order. Jinn, on the other hand, was more of a rogue, notorious for bending the beliefs of the Jedi. Because of this, the two constantly butted heads. However, over time, their difference began to benefit them, as they complemented each other. Yoda would caution Obi-Wan, however, not to let the influence of Jinn overtake his dedication to the Jedi. As Jinn was a great warrior, he was also very much a flawed Jedi Master. This warning by Yoda would eventually come true, as during one mission, Obi-Wan and Jinn were attempting to end a war that had been going on for ages, where the older members of a society were caught up in traditions, unwilling to change, while the younger members called for democracy. Because of these differences, the whole society was thrown into chaos, and a war had been waged for so long neither side could recall the event that started it. The mission for the Jedi was ultimately unsuccessful, and they were called back to Coruscant. Obi-Wan, however, refused to leave, causing Jinn to cast him from the Jedi, as the place of a Jedi was with the Order above all else. For a time, Kenobi aided the younger faction's war effort, seeing much innocent bloodshed. Kenobi eventually realized his mistake, reaching out to Qui-Gonn, who agreed to take him back. Yoda himself was very much disappointed his warnings had fallen on deaf ears. This event taught Obi-Wan a great deal. Learning the place of a Jedi was to assist and guide, but ultimately the decision was not up to them. The Jedi are peacekeepers above all, and although they may see danger ahead, it is not their place to prevent it if that forces them to take away someone else's free will. This also caused Obi-Wan and Qui-Gonn's relationship to again be strained, as Qui-Gonn grew deeply disappointed in his student for his actions and refusal to listen. Eventually, Xanatos would return yet again, this time attempting to assassinate Yoda. Over the course of the confrontation, Xanatos successfully turned one of the other Jedi who had trained with Kenobi as a youngling to the dark side. Because of this, Obi-Wan was forced to duel the fallen Jedi Padawan, and was ultimately victorious. Near the end of the duel, the Padawan tripped and fell to his death, something that would bother Obi-Wan for the rest of his life. These times as a Padawan would mark some of the darkest days of Obi-Wan's existence, and even on Tatooine, he would long ponder on his mistakes of the past. After several years of Jedi training, Kenobi and Jinn were called to Mandalore to protect Duchess Satine, who was attempting to bring an end to the warrior traditions of her people and bring peace to Mandalore. During the exceptionally long mission, Obi-Wan fell in love with Satine, but ultimately chose to stay with the Jedi Order, learning his lesson from years prior, and still feeling the way of the Jedi was what the Force was willing him to follow. On another mission, the two Jedi even met up with the Wookiee Chewbacca, who was aiding in colonization and driving out the Trade Federation from their moon. Obi-Wan and Jinn were sent to the moon to help, and eventually began working close with Chewbacca. This occasion actually marks the first time Chewbacca met a Jedi. Over many more years, Obi-Wan became a noted Padawan, eventually ascending to the rank of Knight after he defeated the Sith apprentice Maul on Naboo. Many years later, Obi-Wan would become one of the most respected masters of the Jedi Order, admired for his humility and understanding. As a youngling, Obi Wan was never anything significant. Many of his abilities were questionable, and his control over them even more so. Obi Wan's midichlorian count was below normal for a Jedi, and he barely qualified to become a Jedi in the first place, but over many years he gained control. Unlike his future apprentice Anakin Skywalker, he exercised the Jedi Code, obtaining great respect for his masters. His pairing with Qui-Gonn Jinn was an interesting choice, as in many cases their experiences caused Obi-Wan to become the voice of reason, even at a very young age. Obi-Wan ultimately overcame many of the obstacles Anakin Skywalker would later not. Kenobi needed to have a rough start to his journey as a Jedi, because overcoming these mistakes is what made him such a great warrior and teacher, with him years later teaching the boy Luke Skywalker whose actions would bring an end to the Sith. Sun suddenly burst through the clouds overhead, dazzling Qui-Gonn's sight. The glare caused Obi-Wan's features to blur and dissolve for a moment. Qui-Gonn didn't see the boy. He saw an elder man, alone, living on a desolate planet. His only companions, his dark memories. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, maybe consider subscribing to ensure you stay up to date with everything Star Wars related. If you liked the video, please leave a like, as it helps the channel out a great deal, and I really appreciate it. If you have any lore topics or questions you want answered, do not hesitate to tweet them at me at StupendousWave on Twitter, or leave a comment below this video and I will try my best to answer or make a full video dedicated to your topic. Thanks again for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.